So as we welcome in 2025, for those of us who are involved in the industry, the crypto world is buzzing with momentum right now. I mean, we have a new U.S. administration showing signs of embracing cryptocurrency, of course, which is setting the stage for transformative policies. We see institutions racing to acquire Bitcoin and leveraging blockchain technology. Of course, that signals a massive shift in the global financial landscape. We have the meme movement, which has proven that it's more than just hype. These projects are all about driving real community and engaging and mobilizing people in a way that we've never seen before. The space moves fast. The rise of AI agents and the incredible potential that they hold in reshaping how we interact with technology. It seems like if you blink, you might miss something. Crypto's influence and acceptance continue to grow globally, touching every industry, every market, every person. At least that's my perspective, maybe yours. But as we step back in retrospect, is that the case for the average person who we interact with daily? So we have an incredible lineup of speakers today, and I want to give a shout out to everyone here for bringing their own expertise and perspective to the table. First off, shout out to Mr. Hodel of RTRD. Mr. Hodel, founder, or should I say number one RTRD pusher. Mr. Hodel, you can clarify that. RTRD is a project based around community and education. Shout out to XR8, or is it X-Rated Brain? You can clarify that also. XR8 is a developer for Lick, 3D artist, and game maker. He has a lot of experience in the crypto industry with his expertise in 3D assets and gaming. And last but not least, we have Dami, who is a developer marketing manager. Dami markets blockchain developer products to developers and helps support them to be successful while at it. He did it for Polygon, and now he's doing it for Base. I think we have a nice selection of chains and individuals here, and I appreciate all of you for giving me a portion of your time today. You often hear that we're early, and I just want to say that if you're here, if you've been here, or if you just started, enjoy the process. Just based on everything that we're getting ready to discuss and the fact that we're in different time zones in other parts of the world, this type of engagement and communication, collaboration was not happening 10 years ago. So whether you're a beginner, an advanced developer, a creator, an investor, there's something here for everyone. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna let the professionals speak. So I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us about your experience in crypto, what project or purpose you represent, and just briefly explain how your work connects to the crypto landscape. So we'll start with who I see first, Mr. Hodel.
Oh, all right, yeah. Well, my name is Mr. Hodel with a 0 because I round trip a lot. Been in crypto for about 5 years now. Started on ETH, went to Solana, ended up on Kronos. Spent time in DeFi, NFTs, launched RTRD. And it's funny because it's kind of like ironic, right? Trying to teach people how to leverage trade, how to understand blockchain, and kind of how to move in this ever-changing market. So, we're just a small, tight-knit community that is working on teaching each other and trying to understand how to make each other better, realistically.
Amazing. Thank you, Mr. Hodel. And I've been saying it wrong. It's not Hodel. It's Mr. Hodel. Next up, we have XR8 or X-Rated Brain. You can clarify that.
Hey, thanks for having me. Yeah, one of our community members, a good friend of mine, Ron, we were talking the other week, and he's like, dude, I just realized that we've been looking at your name all wrong. It's X-Rated Brain. And I'm like, oh God. And it seems to be getting traction. But I mean, the name originally, it stems from the email XLR8 quick. I've been in crypto quite a while. I mean, I bought my first Bitcoin when it was like $130, somewhere around there. Some guy on a construction site I was working on was like, dude, if you sign up for Coinbase, we're both going to get $20. And he was like telling me how this was the future and everything. And so I ended up doing it. And then I forgot I had them. Then all of a sudden, like, next thing you know, Bitcoins were worth a whole bunch. Then I started kind of getting a little bit more into crypto, like in general, and like the Ethereum network. And I really liked NFTs because I was like an art person. I've always been like around doing different art things, digital art in particular. So let's say in 2021, I got really big into NFTs. I was there with Mr. Hoddle. We were in projects together on Chronos. Made a lot of friends, made a lot of acquaintances, went through the big crash of everything in crypto in general that everybody went through. But like for me, one of the things was, I've always been a big gamer. I've always liked the different like character art and stuff like that. And when I got into NFTs, it always kind of made sense to me that NFTs would go into the gaming route, that these would turn into like 3D models and stuff like that, that you'd be able to like own the IP rights to, be able to play that character in a game and in a metaverse, and that there'd be opportunities inside that metaverse where you could earn money, earn crypto, things like that. So I kind of stepped away from crypto for a minute, focused on myself, learned some new like skill sets with doing 3D art and generating that kind of stuff, and working in Unity and like building games and stuff. And then I kind of entered this back into the scene, into crypto. And right about that time, Nifty Island came out, and I got really involved with Nifty Island. I worked with a lot of projects and turned a lot of different projects like NFTs into avatars that they were able to use in game and stuff like that. And so then very shortly after, my good friend Endo ended up starting a meme coin project, Lick. And he knew my background and like a lot of the different things that I've done. And so he asked if I would help out with the project. That was about 8 months ago, and here we are. It's like we just keep going. We keep making stuff, keep doing things. You've got your ups and downs like any other project in the space. But yeah, we were able to get integrated into Nifty with our, Blue Blob character and stuff like that. So it's been a fun ride. And for me, like crypto in general, just like as far as like real world use cases, there's a lot of people who are into gaming. I think you capture a lot of the younger generation with that aspect, and there's a lot of ways that it can go, and that gives it a real use case. The older generations are always going to be, well, how am I going to make money? How am I going to profit from this? And I think that's where a lot of what Mr. Hoddle does comes into play. And Lick touches on that a little bit too, but I know Hoddle's project is more focused on that, and teaching people how to leverage trade and make that money and stuff like that. So, yeah, man.
Awesome. Amazing. Great to hear. Last but not least, we have Sir Dami. Dami, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what you do, your experience, so forth.
Thanks, man. Thanks so much for having me, Rock. GM, everyone. So yeah, my name is Dami. You can just call me Dami. Dami. Yeah. So basically, I actually started my crypto journey as a DGen on Binance. This was the year 2020, and so I was trading every shitcoin there was on Binance and on chain. And so moving into 2021, I actually got into the professional side of the industry. So I had previously worked with the Nigeria Stock Exchange, that's in TradFi. I worked a little bit in TradFi for about 6 months. And then before going all into crypto, working as a marketing manager. And so I've been privileged to work for blockchain.com. I also did some work for Polygon in Africa. And I'm currently doing um, dev marketing for bees as well in Nigeria and Africa. And so basically that is just my crypto journey. It's I started out as a DJing, but it's more of a professional kind of experience, working with protocols to just make sure the founders and the team building on these protocols are successful.
Awesome. I did an interview with Dami about 2 years ago when Nigeria was going through that transition. We can talk about that a little bit later, but I'm glad to have you here. Thank you, everyone. And so, as we discuss some of the topics, guys, for those of you who've been in crypto, we tend to speak in a way where others might be a little bit confused sometimes. So, just try to keep it simple for like I like to say, the average 60-year-old or the average 30-year-old who may or may not be paying attention. Okay. So we're going to start with the first question, and anyone can take it. The first question that I have is like, what regulatory changes or trends do you think will have the biggest impact on crypto adoption? I know XR8, or what is it, XR8 or X-rated? What do you want me to say?
The XR8.
XR8. I know you mentioned gaming, and I totally agree with you, but go ahead and expand on that a little bit.
Well, I mean, to kind of answer your question, I have been in crypto a while, right? And I've been in a lot of different projects, and I've been pretty integrated into a lot of those projects. The biggest thing that I've seen, especially for on the U.S. American side, is there really hasn't been a clear-cut way for a legitimate project to become legit, right? To become regulatory, to be able to, check all the boxes and establish themselves as a legit company or project that's legal. I think you've had just a ton of people that have been walking this gray area, right? And even on the gaming side, you want to release a token, you want to have people be able to earn money off of the token playing the game. And there's all this gray area about, is that token going to be considered a security? Is it going to be this or that? Or am I going to have to hire all these lawyers? Am I going to get sued by the SEC? So there's just been a lot of uncertainty in the space. I think with the new administration coming in, our new president getting ready to be pro crypto, the people that he's putting in charge of the SEC and different regulatory agencies, they're pro crypto. So I think that you're going to see that opportunity for projects and crypto in general, how they can become compliant. And that'll, I think that in itself is probably the biggest win that we could get out of everything, because a lot of the bad actors in the space, and which, I mean, that plays to a lot of the negativity to crypto, is, oh, everybody's a scam. Everybody's just trying to take my money. Everybody's a grifter. And yeah, there are a lot of those people in the space, but their only reason they're able to really operate the way they do in the space is because you can't become really compliant. So I think with this new administration, you'll see that start to happen. And I think that'll be a big win overall for the whole industry.
Thank you. Mr. Hodl, I know, you have a meme coin, and I would love to hear your opinion on that.
I mean, I agree with most of what he said. Regulatory clarity makes it really tough. I launched a meme coin um, under the guise of, no promises to deliver, just memes in a cult. Um, and then along the way, give you some education so you could become better at this. Like I said, I've been around about 5 years now. Um, I've seen all the different tricks from all the different grifters. Um, And so I've been able to, help people stay away from those same things, or, you know, um, realize them faster, as well as, like XR8 said, we started talking about leverage trading. So we released an NFT called Crotards, which give you access to an indicator. We use the indicator as a tool for your tool belt, helping people learn how to trade. Um, Realistically, the whole goal for us is just to teach people how to make money in any market, right? Whether the market's going up or down or sideways, you should be able to make some type of money in order to keep yourself moving forward. Um, Really looking forward to to this DeFi run that's about to happen. A lot of people aren't even prepared for it, so I find that funny. But I do agree with XR8. There's a lot of uh, uncertainty and not a lot of regulatory clarity. But I think we're starting to get there. Like if you look at the state of New Hampshire, um, they started talking about they're going to create a reserve of Bitcoin with an asset in their asset class. So I think the times are coming. Times are changing. Um, it's gonna be a slower pace, and we all just need to be okay with that, because as any asset class becomes more relevant, they want to make sure that they're you know um, taking care of the people, right? They don't want to just jump in and then all of a sudden bad things happen, and now your investment is $0. Um, but that's the way I see it personally.
Thank you, appreciate that. Dami, I know you're in a different part of the world, and so you have a totally different perspective. I would love to hear yours.
Yeah, thank you so much. I actually agree with what Mr. Hodul and X-Right has said, because even though I'm like in Africa, yeah, I think our biggest challenge is still regulatory clarity, even here in Africa. And that's because most of the different country governments are very hostile towards crypto, particularly Nigeria. Nigerian government is very, very hostile. I think we all know what happened to like the Binance executive in Nigeria, how he was locked up for 8 months. And so I think in this part of the world as well, we need regulatory clarity. And I think that is one of the biggest hindrances that we have, like in this industry at large. And I'm hopeful with the the new administration of Donald Trump. So maybe if he has that, if he sets that bar or that tone in the US, then maybe other um, governments can actually look at that and kind of change their stance. But I think one part of the blockchain markets that we need, or let me say there were three markets that we need regulations for the most, is exchanges. Because let's face it, exchanges are like the gateway to the whole industry for most people. Some might say it's wallets, but how many people can actually use wallets? But exchanges are like the easiest way for people to actually know about crypto, meme coins, the on-chain economy, and actually dive right in. And so I think if we can have like very good tight, yes, but also good regulations for those exchanges, then it can trickle down to then wallets, and then to blockchain protocols, and then to DeFi protocols, and so on.
Thank you. Okay, speaking of regulatory clarity, and I'm speaking specifically from the perspective of the United States, we know institutions have large impact on decisions and politically. So just switching it a little bit, why do you think, and I'm sure it may be common sense to us, but why do you think we're seeing a surge in institutional investment in crypto now, and how does that affect the smaller players? Anyone can take it off. Mr. Huddle, I see your hands.
Um, yeah, I just kind of wanted to piggyback off what Dami was saying real quick. He was talking about um, onboarding, and he had brought up exchanges, and I think crypto.com. I don't know if you guys pay attention to crypto.com, but I think crypto.com is probably doing the best when it comes to this area, um, with the way that they're onboarding through all their marketing, with the way that they're allowing people to do like I think it's called airdrop arena, where you're allowed to put your money in and kind of like soft stake, um, and just bringing awareness to other tokens. I think they're doing a fairly good job, in my honest opinion. Um, but I think we're starting to see more people starting to get involved, like on the financial side, because they understand, the aspects of what it is, right? Like, um, realistically, between gold and silver, we have an infinite amount. Like, a lot of people won't say that out loud because they'll be like, well, you can only mine so much. But that's realistically untrue, right? Like, if an asteroid crashes into the Earth, you could find an extra $1 trillion worth of gold out of nowhere, and that's just the reality of it. Whereas when the code is written, it's a finite amount and it's definitive from the beginning, right? You have a hard cap. Um, you can't just change the code. So that's the way that I look at things personally. I think they're starting to see the value in certain brands or tokens with finite amount, personally.
I would agree with you on crypto.com. I'm all crypt, guys. So, I say I'm all crypt, Lord of none. So I'll go on any chain. I have a crypto.com account. I'm on Binance. I'm on Solana. That's the beauty of the industry. Um, so yeah, you answered that with the institutional interest. Um, the institutions are also investing in meme tokens. Do you believe those institutional investors will eventually embrace it? Or is this just, an opportunity that they're taking advantage of?
I think that they just understand that there's a difference, right?
Right.
And to the point, you hit full circulating supply. So there's a lot of room there for, I don't want to say negligence, but market manipulation, right? Whereas with tokens in full circulating supply, it's a lot less likely. On top of that, you have the idea of like most new investors, especially the people that I talk to, or if you talk to people who are, on the lower end of income, they're not willing to put $100 into Bitcoin to receive 0.0001 token. They want to put $100 in and receive 10 billion tokens at the idea of this thing going to, a penny or 10 cents. And now they're actually like rich, right? That's because that's the rags to riches story that we hear about in crypto. So I think institutions that are offering those see that as a way to pander to those people as well. That's the way I view it.
I mean, I think I agree with what he's saying. I think from the institutional standpoint, they make their money off of the communities, the investors, the people where they're spending their money. They're just they're providing the products, the services, and things that the average consumer is going to buy from them, their institution. Um, when you look at the market right now, like every bull cycle has this, a different meta, right? And back in 2020, 21, I mean, NFTs were the boom. Um, NFTs are still relevant, but right now, I would definitely say meme coins are way more relevant in this cycle. And institutions wanting to reach and understand the market and the consumers involved in the market, um, I think it makes sense that they have to get involved with meme coins because that allows them to get uh, the most exposure to what's going on right now and the way people are thinking and the way they're moving their money so that they can capture part of that in what they're doing.
Awesome. Sir Dami, I know you said you were a Degen. So from your perspective or from individuals that you may know. What's your take on this?
So I actually agree in part with what like Mr. Odul and XR has said, but I have like a slightly different opinion because like I actually understand, yes, of course, a lot of people will be much more interested in like going for MEMS because they have like higher ROI opportunities than all of this established altcoins or established crypto like Bitcoin. But even at that, the grass to grace stories that we hear are actually like 1 in 100, if we are actually very, very honest, because I've been a DJ too before. It's not as easy as it looks. It's quite difficult. And so I think the memes are good. Companies or institutions actually getting into memes are good. But I think what will really change, what will really bring about the what I call it, the global momentum that we want to see is this big established Fortune 500 companies integrating the blockchain into their product. I think that would actually give a higher positive effect to the industry and a higher positive image to the industry than just the memes. Because let's face it, these guys, like I'm referring to the big guns, the big of the big guns, the first 500 companies. I don't think they would want to like dabble into memes or even dabble into tokens. But if they actually see there's a way where the blockchain can make their products much easier and also reach people much faster, I think they would actually go through that route than actually dabbling into memes or buying crypto. So yes, memes are good. Institutions buying memes are good. But I think what would actually give us the global momentum that we need in this industry is just these guys that a lot of people trust already, integrating crypto and like the blockchain rails into their already existing product.
I love that perspective. You know, one thing that we can't deny, and I believe that, is the impact that memes have. It's a movement within a community. So, since we're on that, Mr. Hoddle or even XR8, do you think a project like yours can attract or collaborate with an institutional investor while still trying to stay true to crypto's decentralized roots?
Um, it's a possibility. It's not something that I'm looking at right now, obviously, because I think our market cap is kind of low, and we're obviously on a chain that doesn't get the same representation, so it kind of sucks. I talk about that often, how like I could have picked a different chain, and the token would be a $20 million market cap token, and then I point at things like Retardio and Brainlet, where you see them doing very well on the Solana chain, and then on Chronos, it's kind of a stagnant chain right now until we get new users. But I think it's something um, that can be done, especially if your meme token has to be fully decentralized. In my honest opinion, like if you're gonna, you know, a meme token can't succeed centralized with a centralized entity. Like I don't see that being a thing. So that's my answer personally.
Thank you. XR8?
Yeah, I think it could definitely happen. When you look at like Lick and what we're doing, and like everybody that's involved in the team, most of us are older, established people, um, hold different titles and positions in life, but we have a lot of connections to that institutional side. Um, when you start like expanding the project and you look at things that like we want to do long term, whether it be merchandise, IP rights, just different things, um, all of that is integrated with the token. And I think for institutions to be able to come in and capture a piece of that market with the different, there's a lot of options for us to go, and that gives them a chance to kind of get in and capture a part of that, market within our own little ecosystem.
Awesome. Thank you. So Sir Dami, I know you said you had to run, so I want to get to this before you do that. I want to talk about the opportunities for builders and creators. So I'll start with you, Sir Dami. What specific, because I know you work with Polygon and now you're on base, what specific opportunities do you see for developers, creators, or businesses in Web3 right now?
So I think that's a very complex question, quoted in a very simple sentence. But I think one thing I would say is there are different opportunities for different subgroups. So for developers in crypto, you can actually access the globe at once. And what that means is, compared to traditional tech, or as we call it, I don't want to use the word Web 2 because you've actually said we should try to not use the jargons that we use in the space. But like compared to traditional tech, it's actually very, very hard to scale to the globe, because then you have to deal with different national jurisdictions, and like there are different rules. So if you want to scale from, let's say, the US to, let's say, Africa, and then you have to actually deal with the different laws in Africa before you can scale into here. Or if you are an African builder, you want to scale to the West, you then have to deal with the different regulations in Europe or in North America or in South America. But with crypto, with the blockchain, you can actually access the whole globe at once whilst building on the blockchain. So you don't need to actually, unless if you want to start to like expand your product, or let me say your business physically in different physical geolocations, then you need to actually go the normal route of going through different governments. But if you just want to build something the same way Mr. Hodul is building something with a meme coin on Kronos, you can just put it on the blockchain and you can tap into a pool of a global audience. Now, for creators, it's the same as well. For creators, you can monetize your content directly from day one. Electric Capital actually released a report late last year, I think around December, and in that report, it showed that Zora, I'm not sure if we all know Zora, but Zora is like, it's not an NFT platform, but it's like a platform where you can actually just mint anything whatsoever and put it on the blockchain. Zora accounted for, I think, 97% of the NFT volume in the industry last year. And so what that means is, as a creator, you can monetize your content from day one. So as compared to YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, where you, or even Twitter as well, where you have to reach a number of impressions. On Twitter, I think it's around 5 million impressions. Then you have to have at least 500 followers. And then all of these different rules before you can start earning or monetizing your content. On the blockchain, is very, very different. You can monetize from day zero. People can support whatever you are doing on the blockchain from day zero. You can actually tap into that audience as well, global audience. And then for businesses, I think that is actually very clear. As a business, you are limited by the different laws that govern different jurisdictions that you want to play in. So, for instance, let's use Stripe as an example. Stripe wants to actually help African merchants tap into the global audience. But before they do that, then they have to integrate the different currencies in the different countries so that these different merchants can actually come on board and then accept payments from the different citizens of different countries. Do you understand? So that is actually very complex as compared to if they are just doing this with stable coins or any other crypto on the blockchain. And so anybody around the world can actually pay in stable coin. The merchants can actually accept, you as a business can accept payments from anybody from across the world, irrespective of wherever they may be living or whatever currency they're actually spending. You can accept payments from them in crypto and stable coins, and you get into your wallet. And that's it. So for different subgroups, it's quite different.
Yeah, I love that take. Especially considering right now they're trying to ban TikTok in the U.S. So not sure where that is. But Mr. Hoddle, what type of opportunities do you see for developers or creators in Web3 right now? And do you think your project empowers or supports creators and builders to succeed in the space?
I mean, I think personally, there's a ton of chance for people to make good positions in this space right now. Um, no matter what you're doing, realistically. Um, I mean, RTRD as a community, I don't think we try and put anybody on a pedestal. I think we're trying to divert away from just one creator. More of like a decentralized aspect, like I said. But I see it as a case for the industry as a whole, right? Like right now, a lot of people can. I mean, you can make a bag just off content creation, whether you choose to do TikTok or YouTube or Twitch streaming. Um, yeah, I think it's limitless, realistically. Whether you want to do education or trading or pretty much anything that takes place within this market. I think there's money to be made in all aspects of it.
Yeah, I do love the fact where Dami said it's immediately on the blockchain. And you mentioned, Dami, I think you mentioned, was it Zora? Is that?
Yeah, Zora. Zora.co. I think they're actually on Twitter. If you just search Zora, you'd see it. So it's basically just a platform for it's really for anybody because you can actually just mint. So you can actually mint anything using Zora on the blockchain. You can mint videos, you can mint pictures, anything, any sort of media. You can mint it on the blockchain and it becomes an NFC that people can collect and support you with.
Good to know. Thank you. Thank you. XR8, do you want to add to that? Like, how does Lick empower? Well, I already know they support creators myself. So shout out to Lick. Anything else you would like to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to the whole when you hear people say you're early. I mean, it's the truth. You really are early in any industry where you're early to it. If you're a builder, if you're somebody who makes stuff, content, products, info, there's going to be an opportunity for you to make money and succeed, on that. A lot of like what I do with like 3D assets and everything, you look at, this is just stuff that I do as like a hobby, right? My hobby turned into something that, like, if this was 15 years ago, I would probably be full-time Web3. I would have already walked away from my job. I'm just more established in my job right now, and there's not a lot I can do about that. But I mean, when you think about the fact that somebody like myself could realistically take their hobby of something that they just like to do in general and could totally support their families from it, it's a pretty powerful thing.
Definitely very powerful. How do we ensure that crypto remains accessible to the new users, especially in underrepresented regions? And, we're on the memes, but, I know I like to hear it from a different perspective, specifically from Dami. Start with you.
Okay, so I think the best thing that has actually worked so far, from my own personal experience and from my experience in Africa for about 3 years now, has been the memes. The memes do work, to be very, very honest, because particularly during the tap craze last year, where people could actually just people were tapping a bot on Telegram, a Telegram mini app, and they were earning from it. That was good. That actually went viral. But I think it's not really sustainable because most times when people get in and they see things like this from experience. They just come in, get the money, and then go out with the mind that this is not really a sustainable industry for me, and it will soon just all go to zero. Do you understand? So they just come in with that mindset to just exploit, or let me say, take as much as they can, and just quickly run back out. Do you understand? And it kind of it's very good, but it kind of give them like I won't say a bad image, but like a very wrong image about the whole industry at large. So I think memes are good, but I think the memes that can actually help us to educate people better will actually go a long way. Because I like what a particular meme was doing. I think Hamster Combat, if I'm not wrong. So what they were doing was you could play games on, but they were also like giving updates every week. I think every day of different things that were happening in the whole crypto space, and also education as well. So I think memes has the viral element to actually go viral and bring a lot of people on chain. But I think to sustain them is the problem. And so that's where the infusion with education actually has to come in. So people have to know, okay, yes, I'm getting into the crypto industry with these memes, but I can also do other things. Because using my own personal experience as well, when I was entering into the space, all I knew was Binance. And then all I knew was I could actually make quick bucks trading shit coins on Binance. But I think when I actually knew that all of these different tokens, or let me say, both memes and altcoins, all of these tokens actually had a theme behind them. It changed a whole lot for me because then I knew, oh, okay, so this is actually a full-fledged industry that can actually work in properly. And so I think that is the kind of realization or the kind of education we should be bringing to people. Yes, memes help to catch their attention, but I think we also need to infuse a little bit of education into it and tell them, okay, the whole industry is more than memes. You can actually do much more and actually sustain yourself, or like actually carve out a sustainable income for yourself in the industry, using so and so routes. So I think that's really what we need to do. The memes are good, but we also need a lot of education to actually just let them know the industry is more than just making quick bucks and cashing out.
Thank you. Mr. Hodder, I know you say, you formed RTRD with no promise. And it's not about promoting any one person. I do pay attention, and you have a strong community of supporters. You're also pushing that educational aspect. So, memes are the entry point. So, in your opinion, even though you don't offer any promises through RTRD, how do you think that RTRD can contribute to the inclusivity while maintaining legitimacy in the space?
So I think the legitimacy is just based off the way that we pave, right? By not taking and by just continually giving back. Like as soon as people start saying that they own some RTRD or they bought a crow card, we add them to the group chat or they find their way into the Discord or the Telegram, um, and they're able to, I don't know, in my opinion, maneuver different, right? Like um, we start teaching you, here's what we're looking at. Like right now, I'm not even really trading. Right now, I'm kind of doing airdrop farming. So I started helping everybody, get over to abstract communities over on Sonic now too, because Sonic has an airdrop coming up, and I'm not talking about the SVM, talking about the EVM. Um, and so, you know, um, that's the way that I view things. Is like there's so many ways to be a value add instead of a value extractor, right? Like there's a lot of value extractors who will come into the space, they'll launch a token, and then all they really want is your money. I've been blessed enough to be in a position where I don't really need the money right now, right? Like, yeah, money's nice and all, but I don't need it right this minute. Um, so we've been able to build up the community through education, and I think that's what also helps to keep us relevant, is because it's an ever changing landscape. and people want to know more. And so it intrigues people when they find out, like, oh, these guys have been here for a little while. They know what they're talking about most of the time, and they're willing to educate people and teach people how to maneuver here. Um, that's the way that I view it personally when it comes to RTRD.
Nice. Um, can you just tell me a little bit about Crotard again? Just explain the concept behind that.
Well, yeah, it's a retro 404. Um, and what that means is that the token was launched prior to the NFT being launched. And so what happens is you can take a set amount of RTRD. We have V1 and V2. So for V1, it's like 777,777 RTRD that you put into the contract, and then you're giving a Crotard. And at any point in time, you can choose to put the Crotard back into the pool and receive your liquid asset back. May not be in the same dollar amount. The token price could obviously fluctuate up or down, but in the end, you still are able to get a liquid asset in comparison to just buying an NFT and then having to put it on the open market and hope and pray that somebody buys it off you. Um, and when you get a Crotard V1 or V2, you're also given a key to the indicator. And once you get the key to the indicator, you access TradingView, you set up the indicator, and it's a tool for the tool belt. It's not gonna it's not gonna make you the best trader in the world overnight, but it's gonna help you to confirm or deny what you're seeing, or maybe help you understand pattern recognition a little bit more when it comes to supports, resistance, breakthroughs, things like that.
Nice. Sounds very interesting. I need to look into that. XR8, can you answer what exactly is Lick doing to foster inclusivity and expand, crypto's reach globally?
Yeah. So, excuse me. There's a listener down there right now, AB, and I know he's been in crypto for about as long as Hodl, myself, and a few of us. And when in the beginning of Lick, we had a space, and he came on, and he's a very straightforward person, and he asked a lot of the hard questions. And at the time, we were in the process of building a lot of things and figuring out the direction of Lick. And he said, if I'm somebody who isn't into meme coins, right? If I'm somebody that's like into NFTs or this or that, why do I buy your meme coin? Like, what is a meme coin? What is it going to do? Like, other than me like buying it and then holding it and hoping the price goes up and then selling it to make money, like, what's the point of it? And at the time, it's still a very legitimate question for most projects out there. But me being on the team, I've always, like, when we have our team meetings, when we talk as a project and that, I've always thought about that question. Whether it's a meme coin or whatever it is, your project should have meaning on different, like, levels, layers. And I think that with what we've done with Lick, between Endo, our founder, doing, the educational aspect of teaching people how to trade, doing live trading in our Telegram, the different things that we have set up with whale watchers and everything else. Then you look at, like, on the gamify side, with us integrating with Nifty Island and becoming a official project with them, and being able to, you hold Lick and you can go in and you can play with the Blue Blob avatar, and we've dropped other assets that people can claim. We've kind of expanded in as many different directions that we possibly could, that allows not just, say, us as a team, but the community itself to be able to come in and piggyback off of like what we're doing and kind of build their own things if they wanted to. We've had so many community members like come in and step up and do different initiatives on their ends, and you know, it just helps the project grow. It helps us become bigger, more relevant. You look at our down, you know, we've used that to branch out outside of just the chain that we're on. You know, we support the communities that are involved with the project, and it allows us to, you know, go buy NFTs from these different projects that, you know, the community of Lick holds. And so now we're supporting them, and it goes back to the whole, if we win, they win. You know, if we win, everybody wins. And I think that concept allows you to go the distance and allows you to keep growing and going farther, because when you have that, if we win, everybody wins, that's a good foundation to have.
You know, I'm an educator, and I deal with kids between the ages of 10 to 14. And you know, there's something about being a part of a group of people who think like you, who support you. There's the kids these days, they love that. And you know, I'm just speaking 5, 10 years from now. That's the mindset of the young people that I get involved with. And that's why I think memes are so powerful. But this is from the US perspective of young people. I'm sure it's totally different in another country, so I can only speak from that aspect. But I just think that the memes are powerful just in that sense of community. And you know, if you can add to the value of a person in terms of education and different things like that, I do believe that depending on the meme and their purpose, that there can be a lot of longevity in the space. So we're gonna round it out. Before we do so, I want you guys to just tell me what are the future plans for your project or for your brand or your whatever it is that you're working on. Tell me what are your future plans, sir, for RTRD? What do you have in store?
Nothing. We're just gonna keep on doing what we're doing. We're gonna keep on memeing. Well, actually, that's a lie. We do have a partnership with a bot that's coming out on Chronos. It's called Wolf Swap. They're releasing a bot soon, where 50% of all trading fees that are routed through that bot are going to go back to the marketing wallet, which is going to allow us to buy our GRD off the open market, or to, you know, pair the token with the crow that's generated from that wallet. Kind of opens up a lot of different routes for us, to be honest. But that hasn't been done yet. We've been waiting on that for 6 months now. So, you know, who knows when it's actually going to happen realistically. Um, but that's like our major thing, is just waiting on that. Once that milestone's hit, um, then it kind of just creates the rest of the flywheel. But other than that, it's realistically just memes and hanging out. You know, I personally don't have any real, um, not expectations, but just I don't have anything that I would like to continue to try pushing for the project. I just want it to be memes and a community. Um, I've been joking with the community since they have launched that we're going to zero, uh, because that's just, you know, that's just me personally. I think it's funny. Um, some people don't find it funny, but I find it funny. Um, so we'll see where we go from here. Realistically, it's all about the community, though. As I've said since the beginning, I don't want it to be a centralized meme token. If if the token completely relies on me taking care of the community, then we are going to zero, because it's not something that I can do, right? Like I have 2 kids, I have a wife, I have a life. Like it's just not something. that's sustainable. Um, so that's just the way that I view things, and that's the way that I'm going to continue to do things.
Okay. XR8, what are the future plans for Lick?
Man, we got so much stuff going on. I don't know what I can talk about, what I can't. I mean, obviously, we want to keep building out the partnerships and things like that we've already established. Like we recently partnered up with PAL, Solana Mobile, stuff like that. We've done airdrops. We've done, a lot of different things. We're still networking. We're still building. As a project, we did a lot of building and starting of things before we ever really started pushing the coin itself, like as much as we have recently, because we wanted to have that, kind of utility and use case before we pushed it out. But there's a lot of stuff that, I've personally been working on, that different things with AI and stuff like that, and AR, and I'd like to finish some of those products out and get them pushed out to the community. And yeah, like I said, keep building on like the different platforms that we're already established with, a lot, like with Nifty Island. I actually have to talk to them later. They reached out to us. They wanted to have a Lick sponsored game night. So, we're going to get that set up, and that'll be happening over the next week. I'll probably make up some special assets that'll go out to people as prizes that participate in that game night. So there's always going to be, developing on that side of things with the gamified side of it, for sure. But I think as a project that we got a lot of ambitions. You take it day by day, week by week, block by block. We have a lot of meetings. We discuss things and make sure that what we're doing is strategic and makes sense.
Awesome. So guys, I just want to say that I appreciate everyone for showing up, and anyone who watches or listens to this, if it's now or later, please make sure that you're supporting these communities. Regardless of it, Mr. Hoddle said, support RTRD, support Mr. Hoddle, support Lick, support XR8. I think we have some amazing people in the space who do amazing things. We're living in a time that's, in my opinion, not like any other. And, I'm grateful to have the opportunity to be able to speak and collaborate with someone from Africa and someone who is in another part of the country, and we can come together and make moves. So shout out to all of y'all. Make sure you're following everyone here